Hello, it's Tammy. Welcome to my kitchen. I thought I would take a little time today to kind of go over a couple of very important topics, and I thought I would do it while I was kind of filling some orders, killing two birds with one stone, if you will. I have a tendency to think while I'm, thoughts kind of flow better when I'm moving as opposed to just sitting and talking. And so once I get into my groove, I'm hoping to really just kind of tap into what it is I'm wanting to share here. Because we have an issue in this country along the lines of addiction and obesity and mental health issues for that matter. We have a war, if you will, between two sides. One stating that these are behavioral and psychological problems, whereas the other side's calling it a disease. I was reading an article just yesterday, as a matter of fact, that was referring to clinicians in the area of addiction treatment that are still wanting to only manage it as a psychological and behavioral imbalance or problem. The interesting thing about it is that we know that all plants affect our chemistry. This is the reason why herbs and oils have been used for thousands of years. We recognize what they do to the body. We study what they do to the body. We turn those active ingredients that we discover into medications. And what I'm proposing here, and what we do know for heaven's sake, when you look at, if you drink a cup of coffee, you know how it affects you. Now, not everyone becomes addicted to caffeine. Not everyone becomes addicted to cigarettes. I tried cigarettes when I was in college. It was something I never really wanted to do. So, yes, we do have addictive behaviors. Yes, we do have addictive substances in this country or around the world, rather, but not everyone gets hooked on them. So what's causing people to become hooked on some things or one or two things and not all things, right? We all live on the same planet. We're all exposed essentially to the same thing. And some people can take it or leave an energy drink. Some people can have a glass of wine and walk away, where others just can't. The same is said for sugars and refined carbs and, the fatty foods, the junk foods that we like to go for. Some people can have a couple of bites and walk off. Some people cannot. So what is actually going on? I listen to people talk about these issues. Obesity is a health issue. It's not a health issue where it's just psychological or behavioral. Obesity is also biologically connected because the adipose tissue, which is your fat tissue, is part of the hormonal system. And if your hormonal system is malfunctioning and dysfunctioning, which it more than likely is, we could get into a long dialogue right here and say, well, how do I know if it is? Well, if you have menstrual issues, if you are a man and having a difficult time building muscle and building fat instead, does it mean that you're eating too much? Well, somebody's going to get on you about your diet, but the bottom line is that your body is not producing hormones properly. If you have high cholesterol problems, okay, you got a hormonal issue. If you have an autoimmune disorder, you have a hormonal issue. How and why do I say this? Because our hormones are directly tied to our immune system. So therefore, what I'm getting at here is that obesity, like addiction, is a disease. It's a disease in the sense, disease meaning lack of ease, or a disorder meaning lack of order. It doesn't mean that you're going to be chronically ill for the rest of your life. What it means is that you have a health condition, a neurochemical imbalance. And it means that you are being triggered chemically to try and stabilize. The body is designed to stabilize itself. And for that reason, we have a tendency to be drawn towards certain things. You hear people go, well, I can't stop eating sugar. Or I just love those bags of chips, and they think they're addicted to the salt. Well, actually what they're going for is the fats that are in those potato chips. Why? Because those fats are high in omega-6s, and guess what? Omega-6s are necessary for making hormones. But if there is an issue genetically where it's not happening, the weight goes on, the satisfaction is not there, and and then we start to blame ourselves, and we start to get, we hear talk around the world. I mean, we already know if you get into and study public policies, they're really trying to work on helping to reduce obesity in the United States. And they've got several plans in the works of how to do this. But what I'm getting at is that we all have the power in our own hands and in our own minds, and we have it within our ability to begin to normalize and stabilize our hormonal system so we can recover from addiction. We can recover from obesity. We can normalize our weight and feel just as satisfied by eating foods that we ordinarily would have eaten a lot of. This is the same thing that goes into eating addictions. Yes, even being waif thin, it has hormonal challenges. If you cannot develop muscle, like I said earlier, even in women, you are having tissue development issues, which involves fats and carbohydrates. I'm very, very passionate about this. I have seen products out there in the market recently that are trying to block fats and carbs. And this isn't healthy. It's not healthy at all. Because, like I said, you need your fats and your carbohydrates to produce tissue. Fats and carbohydrates are used to produce fat tissue. They're used to produce muscle tissue. They're used to help produce anti-inflammatory responses. They are incredibly important for us. And so to try to interfere with the body's ability to use them when we're already having problems assimilating nutrients on a cellular level is harmful. It's damaging. It's excruciating to know that this is what people are doing because we want to look good. We don't want to be heavy. And I'm not saying that one way or the other way is bad or good. This isn't about bad or good. This is me speaking very passionately about health. That is my passion, is health. And I chose these two particular areas because even in autoimmune, and mental health, you'll hear a lot of, well, you look fine, well, you look great, how could something be wrong with you? The same thing, when someone looks at somebody who's struggling with their weight, in their own mind, they're more than likely judging them or thinking thoughts. I hear whispers a lot, especially where I'm located. I hear a lot out here on the street. And so we can visually see something is out of balance, but we immediately jump to, oh, well, they don't move a lot, they don't get a lot of exercise, or they must make some really poor diet choices. And the truth of the matter is, none of that is the truth. Their ability to move, their desire to move may be hindered. Again, why? Because of neurochemical imbalances. Because if your neurochemistry is off, you don't have the energy, you don't have the mindset. You may even have some degree of depression because you just don't feel like moving. And then you also, with neurochemical imbalances, the onset of pain, which then slows the movement down, which then adds the weight. And now you have structural challenges that are also contributing to the degree of pain and the body's inability to soothe pain. So it becomes a very vicious cycle. So I'm here in front of you stating that there is help and there is hope. And the same thing goes for addiction. I'm not proposing that anybody attempt to do any of this on their own because the help of health professionals is very important. I am saying, though, understanding how to include such things as herbs and oils and intentional nutrition into the diet so that the body begins to actually utilize the nutrients is imperative. That alongside your medications. Right now, I'm actually making something for someone with MS. Her issues are, right now, she doesn't have a lot of energy. And she also has muscular spasms, which are subsiding. That's what the salve is for. I am actually working directly with the immune system and the neurochemicals because dopamine, serotonin, estrogen, histamine, they are all linked and all interact with the immune system. So being able to regulate this chemistry is necessary. Yes, we do it with medications, but we also know that the medications aren't 100% foolproof, that they have effects on the system in other areas that we don't know what they're going to do. And so what I'm doing here is supporting the medication that she's taking. It's all been double checked, and it's also so there's no contraindications, there's no adverse interactions. We already know that she's seeing improvement, and so she's combining several different modalities, including my own, to support her overcoming this. And we're seeing improvement. We're seeing substantial improvement. The other one is for somebody with muscular dystrophy. Again, there's medications involved, but there's also mindful use of herbs and oils. So, again, and then so I just share this because I'm talking about addiction and obesity today because I work with those as well. And it's not about doing one thing or the other. I'm here to tell you that we can do this together. And if I can teach you how to do this for yourself, it would be more cost effective in the long run, and you would actually be having a stronger relationship with your body and understanding the ups and the downs and what it's trying to tell you, and really reconnecting with yourself so that you can be a powerful participant in your healthcare plan. That goes for anybody that's going into addiction treatment. That's anybody that's in recovery beyond treatment and who's going on in continuing care. This is incredibly important work here, and I'm happy to teach you too. So there's a link in the description box below that you can follow and register for today. In doing so, you will get once you register for the course, you will actually get a free consult and assessment so that you get the full-on experience of what this work really is. In the meantime, if you know of anybody that's not necessarily wanting to do this for themselves but would like to begin to take this on for themselves, I'm happy to discuss this. It's very difficult to get into the very specifics here on a video because even if you're living with obesity, we already know what that looks like. It doesn't necessarily give you a full picture of what's going on internally. So getting a better picture of all that's happening helps me help you understand which way to go. Same thing goes for addiction, because if your drug of choice is alcohol, that's telling me GABA and glutamate. If your drug of choice is cigarettes, that's telling me acetylcholine. If it's cocaine, it's dopamine. Obviously, if it's painkillers, more than likely it's an opiates, and that's a significant immune issue. So again, like I said, even though we have a face, if you will, of what these conditions look like, we don't have the inside scoop until I talk to you. So that's the reason why I can't really give any specifics here to better support or answer your questions in a video. But I really wanted to emphasize that there's too many of us living with the sting of stigma, and that as long as you are alive on this planet, you are prone to neurochemical imbalances, and how that manifests in your body is solely dependent on your individual genome. And understanding your dynamics, your internal dynamics, helps me to help you. And again, I'm happy to teach you this work. It may seem very complicated at this point, but once you get the hang of it for yourself, it's a piece of cake. I've been doing this with myself for 30 years. I am my longest standing client. I've dealt with my own hormonal challenges. I've dealt with my own autoimmune reactions. I've even dealt with my own addictions. So I'm here to tell you that this is real and it works. And if you have any questions, I welcome you to message me. And like I said, I'm going to put there is a link in the description box below. Please follow that and register today for the upcoming class. Once you registered and paid for the class, which is only $92, you will receive a free consultation and assessment that's valued at $125. So I really want you to understand how this will work for you and what you are capable of doing for yourself. I look forward to hearing from you. Until then, have a beautiful day. Bye now.